Stove installation. Where are you going to install your Heatilator EcoChoice? Keep in mind, parts of the stove get hot and the stove will vent hot gases, so take extra care. Make sure your installation maintains or exceeds all minimum clearances to combustibles. Local building codes will vary, but check with the manual for guidelines. Always follow local building codes when installing a hearth appliance. Prevailing wind direction, nearby trees, and roof profiles all affect your ventilation as well. Be sure that all interior venting connections are thoroughly sealed with high temperature RTV silicone. Please contact your retailer with any questions or concerns. Thermostat. Next, you need to decide where the thermostat will be placed. When you put it close to the stove, it may take a higher temperature setting to keep the rest of the house comfortable. If the thermostat is upstairs while the stove is downstairs, you will notice slightly higher temperatures near the stove. Connect the thermostat wires to the screws of the terminal block, located on the left corner, beside the power cord inlet. The order of the wires does not matter. Vertical venting. Vertical venting is the preferred method for venting your EcoChoice pellet stove. The simplest and cheapest way to install vertical venting for your pellet stove is to run the flue outside, up an external wall of your house. Doing it this way means you don't have to disrupt inside the house or cut through the ceilings, which can make a mess. Pellet stove vent pipe will have to be supported every 4 feet. Using a bracket, attach it to the outside wall. If the eaves overhang considerably, you will have to run the pipe through the roof at that point. But if the overhang is slight, 2 45-degree bends will take the vent pipe clear of the eaves. Remember to stay at least 3 inches away from plastic gutters. Vertical venting inside. If you decide to run your pellet stove vent inside the building, the first thing to do is locate any possible obstructions to the run of the pipe. Locate the joists and rafters in the ceiling and roof, because you want to run the venting in between these. Never cut through the joists and rafters. The flue pipe must be kept at least 3 inches away from combustibles, which applies to joists and rafters. Also, a non-combustible hearth pad must be used before installing an EcoChoice stove on a combustible surface. When doing a corner installation, make sure that the corners of the stove are a minimum of 2 inches away from the wall, and the front lip of the hearth pad extends 6 inches beyond the stove's door glass. Now, use a plumb bob to mark the center point of the hole on the ceiling. After cutting the hole, framing the opening, installing the fire stop spacer, and installing the vent into the attic area, use the plumb bob again to mark the center of the hole where the vent will exit the roof, then drill a pilot hole. This pilot hole will make the exterior roof cutting a lot easier. Then, when on the roof, draw an outline of the hole to be cut. Using the pilot hole as a guide, insert your jigsaw into the pilot hole and cut through the roof. When going through the ceiling, a fire stop spacer with a clamp to support the pipe will be needed. Also, any venting installed into an attic or area that has insulation must have an attic insulation shield to keep the insulation and debris from coming in contact with the vent. Refer to the installation instructions and codes for details. In the case of a house that's open to the roof or has no ceilings to support the pellet stove pipe, a roof or cathedral support box must be used. This is really just a box which can be cut to the support angle of the roof and fitted securely. At the base of the box is a clamp to hold and support the pipe. When venting through the roof, you must have a minimum of 60 inches of vertical pellet pipe. This length of pipe includes both the interior and exterior runs of the pipe. This will create a natural draft that will help prevent smoke and odor during a stove shutdown. In heavy snow regions, we strongly recommend a snow guard to prevent damage to the pellet pipe. If you're venting from the back of the stove, A clean-out adapter to remove the ash from the exhaust system must be installed, either inside the house if you're running the vent through the ceiling, or outside if you are running the vent externally.